Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Faith Ventures, where we engage in all things Christ, culture, and conversation. And I came across this story. Actually, it kind of like blew up. If you're into like the Christian social media world, you probably heard of this guy named Kirk Cameron, and he's making some waves recently. So Kirk Cameron used to be an actor. I don't know if he still acts or not, but he used to be a really famous actor on a show called Growing Pains. And he became a Christian and then started making and popularized the books of Left Behind by Tim LaHaye. Made the first Left Behind movie. Like, I remember actually going to go watch it in like the theaters and was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing. And like in the Christian world, it was like a huge, huge thing. But he came out recently on his podcast and talked about how his ideas of hell have kind of shifted, and that he kind of no longer believes in the idea of hell being this eternal conscious punishment that people will experience. Instead, he believes in the idea of annihilation, basically that a person will just cease to exist. But I found it really fascinating. I want to talk about it and just share our thoughts on it. And so let's go ahead and listen to what he says in his own words about his belief on hell, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah. What's your opinion on this?
So my position, as it stands today, and again, the beauty of this is that we're always learning and growing, right? So I'm open to new light. If you guys have a position that you can share with me, I will gladly change my mind. I used to hold the position of conscious eternal torment because that's just what I was taught by people that I love and trust. I've learned that there are other positions, and a very robust argument can be made for conditionalism or annihilationism, as Edward Fudge posits here. And it fits the character of God, in my understanding, more than the conscious eternal torment position, because it brings in the mercy of God together with the justice of God. It doesn't leave judgment out. It is just, but it also fits with the Old Testament picture of the fate of the wicked, which is to be destroyed, it is to die, and it is to perish, not live forever in an eternal barbecue. And the classic verses that used to get me into eternal torment, the punishment, everlasting destruction, fits beautifully with a destruction, punishment, judgment that is irreversible and lasts forever. That is the eternalness of that punishment and that destruction. So that's where I am today. How about you, James? What do you think?
Yeah, so you heard it in his own words. He's leaning more towards this idea of annihilationism, right? Where a person just basically ceases to exist. That's the punishment that they get. I want to commend him for like just being brave enough to even bring this topic to light. I would encourage to actually watch the whole podcast. I believe it's the Kirk Cameron show. I'll link it in the description. But I would encourage you to watch the whole thing just to hear the whole conversation. Because one of the things he does say earlier in the conversation, which is he's 100% accurate, which is the churches in today, at least in America, do not talk about hell. Think about the last time your pastor talked about hell. Or think about the last time your pastor actually, we're going to go through a series on hell. And so I actually commend him for even having this open conversation. And I also commend him for saying, hey, I'm wrestling with this. I'm still learning about it. I'm open, as he says in the video, I'm open to hearing another idea. I'm open to learning more about this. So probably like many of you, when I initially heard Kirk's remarks, I questioned. I personally lean more towards the idea that hell is an everlasting torment. But my mind was kind of blown away when Wes Huff, and if you don't know who Wes Huff is a biblical scholar. He loves apologetics. I believe he leads an apologetic place over in Canada. He's a Canadian, and he actually came out in defense of Kirk Cameron. And this is what he said. With Kirk Cameron announcing his position on conditionalism, I'm seeing a lot of people attempting to critique it. I hold to ECT, eternal conscious torment, which is, hell is a real place and it's everlasting, everlasting. So Wes is saying that that's what he holds to. But listen to what he says. He says, but I do understand the topic of conditional immorality, and I have yet to see anyone actually give a rebuttal that shows me they've interacted with the arguments and biblical reasoning from the other side. To condemn conditionalism/annihilationism as heresy is to say that John Stott, Edward Fudge, F.F. Bruce, potentially even Athanasius of Alexandria are all heretics. This is, with all due respect, ridiculous. While the position might be unorthodox, it is not heresy. If you actually want to interact with someone who knows the topic, reach out to my friends. And you can see those @ handles. It looks like Date Chris, Dan Patterson. Both are solid, fair-minded, well-educated, and articulate holders of conditionalism. That blew my mind to see that response coming from him. For him to even admit, hey, I hold right to eternal conscious torment. I hold to this traditional idea of hell being this everlasting place. However, there is an argument to be made for conditionalism, annihilationism, right? And so far, to him, anybody who's tried to tackle these, this rebuttal to that idea of total annihilation, he says the arguments aren't fully there yet. Like, he doesn't see an argument that fully would convince him that the idea of annihilationism is heresy. And you're seeing all that on social media. Everybody's calling Kirk Cameron a heretic right now. Oh, he doesn't believe in hell anymore. He doesn't believe in, the eternal torment, right? That people are going to experience in hell. He doesn't believe in it. He's a heretic. This is one of the premier leading biblical scholars in the world, Wes Huff, and he's out defending Kirk Cameron, saying, hey, he actually has an argument. You should probably learn more about it. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to go and study more on it and see more. And I don't know where that will ultimately lead me. Maybe people are going to call me a heretic if I somehow land on a different opinion. But when someone who's smarter than you, and I would say Wes Huff is definitely smarter than me and has more experience in what he is talking about, knows more about the Bible than I do, 10 times fold. When someone like that who is trusted comes out and says, hey, you need to do your own research because calling this person a heresy for holding this belief actually isn't right. And there can be an argument for it. Go ahead and do your own research. I think you have to take that at face value. I think it would be ignorant to just dismiss it and just say, well, I'm just going to keep going with what I was originally taught. Search it for yourself. And so that's what I want to do, and that's what I plan on doing. But I wanted to bring that story to you guys. I thought it was really, really fascinating. Again, if you like this content, go ahead and like, subscribe. We have a couple of interviews ready in the pipeline. But if you're someone who wants to be interviewed, if you have a great testimony that you want to share, right, with the world, contact us. Reach out to us. I'll leave the Faith Ventures chat link in the description where you can go ahead and fill out the form to share your testimony, and then we'll set up a time where we can film with you guys. But again, I wanted to bring that story to you guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.